Hey, Ryan.
Hey, Tyler.
Do you want to go on a trip?
Yeah, it's cold in Ohio. Let's go on a trip.
It is real cold in Ohio. I'm thinking we need a vacation.
I'm in.
Cool. So I think I have the perfect place.
Okay. Sell me.
Okay. So I'm going to describe it to you.
Okay.
You cannot guess until I give you all the clues.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm ready.
So this place.
Uh-huh.
It's a planet.
Uh-huh.
It revolves around a star.
Okay. I have a couple ideas so far.
Cool. It is the third planet from that star.
Okay, narrowing it down.
Yep. It has land masses and oceans.
Okay.
People live on this planet.
Okay, getting a little narrower.
Yeah. Have you guessed it yet? Don't say it but do you have something in mind?
I got one. Yep.
Okay,
I got
cool.
one in mind.
So, I'll give you the final clue.
Uh-huh.
At the center of this planet
Uh-huh.
is a prison called the Dead Vault that holds a deity that, if released, would basically cause the destruction of the known universe.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Obviously, we're talking about Golarion.
Oh!
Hey, we're the Tabletop Travel Guide, a podcast where we explore fictional worlds and civilizations right from the comfort of our own table. I'm Tyler. I have played tabletop role-playing games for 12 years now, mostly focusing on Dungeons & Dragons 3.5, more recently Pathfinder 1st Edition and 2nd Edition.
And I'm Ryan. I also have about 10 plus years of tabletop experience playing in a Starfinder campaign right now, DMing a Pathfinder campaign right now, and used to play a lot of 3.5 back in the day.
So, as you heard in the intro, we are not in Earth, as you might assume. We're going to start our journey in the world of Golarion.
The wonderful, wonderful world of Golarion.
Yes, which is the campaign setting for the role-playing game Pathfinder.
Yes.
Owned by Paizo. So, Ryan, when I was thinking about how to start this episode, I realized the great part about Golarion is that it's very much a kitchen sink of campaign ideas.
Oh yeah, everything's thrown in one big kitchen sink.
Yeah, it's perfect. You can any type of campaign you want, you can find it in Golarion.
Yes, absolutely. We've played in some of those kitchen sinks.
Yes. The real bad news is that it is really hard to find a single string of story throughout the entire history of Golarion.
Sure. Well, it's like intentionally written to be not 100% clear to begin with.
Yeah. So what I thought we would do today is, instead of trying to figure out a whole narrative and talk you through the entire history of Golarion, instead I would use this as a kind of charcuterie board of samples throughout Golarion. We'll take bits and pieces, little nuggets of stories.
Okay.
And kind of hopefully whet the appetite for future episodes when we're diving deeper into the different
I'm down.
worlds.
I'm down.
So, let's start with the history of Golarion. We're not going to go, super far back, but I'm going to kind of walk you through the ages.
Okay.
Real quick.
So this, are we starting with the bread or the meat part of the charcuterie board?
Ooh, this would be, I don't know. Maybe the bread?
Bread? What's my starter on a charcuterie board?
I usually put the meat on the bread.
Okay, so it's the crackers. This is the cracker.
Okay, sure. Cracker of
the cracker of the charcuterie board of Golarion.
Foundation.
Good. Maybe this is the board.
Yeah, this is
the board of Golarion.
The board of Golarion. Great call. This is the board. So Golarion has the roughly 6, 7 ages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you have the age before ages. So think of it as kind of the prehistoric time, really kind of before history is kind of written down.
Okay.
And so you have 3 sub-ages in that one.
Okay.
So you have the Age of Creation, Age of Serpents, and Age of Legends.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, Age of Creation, Age of Serpents.
Yeah, that's the one.
So, yeah, obviously the Age of Serpents. We've all been there. You have a time when Golarion at one point was overrun. The first mortal race to be on Golarion were serpent folk.
Oh!
Yeah, Age of Serpents.
Okay, so this is kind of like our lizard people conspiracy theory? Okay, cool.
So then you come to the Age of Legend.
Okay.
And then humans show up.
Okay.
We're going to skip past that. in a future episode, we'll talk more detail about the different ages. But I want to kind of hit some of the big things that happened.
Okay.
And the first big thing is Earthfall. Earthfall. Long story short, the human civilizations that rose up during the Age of Legend, they kind of had benefactors in these sort of very powerful, kind of deity-like creatures.
Okay.
They rose up because they had these benefactors, and then they kind of expanded beyond and had their own technology and their own science and all that stuff.
Did they like destroy their benefactors?
No, not quite. So what they did is they kind of stopped revering their benefactors. They thought, like the typical human things, we think, oh, we're all that. We're good.
Right.
So their benefactors, I'm going to butcher this, but the Algolthu.
The Agolthu?
Yeah,
all right, yep.
the Agolthu.
Yep.
They got kind of angry that the humans kind of basically stopped worshipping them and kind of forgot that, the only reason the humans were there is because they're help.
Okay.
So what they decided to do is said, you know what? We're just going to restart.
Going to cut your losses.
We're going to cut our losses.
Right.
We're going to cull down the remnants of an unborn planet to basically destroy Golarion.
We've all been there.
Everyone's had that moment of like, you know what? I'm just going to
throw it all in the trash, start from scratch, start from zero.
Swipe the table. That was the
okay.
thing.
That seems like not a rash decision at all.
Yeah, not a rash decision. Luckily for the human civilization is that they had a couple other deities, a goddess of the moon and a goddess or a god of magic, decided, you know what? We don't want to see all these people just completely get wiped off the face of the earth.
Okay, very beneficial.
Yeah,
very,
so
very
the
nice
moon decided, I'm going to bring Golarion's moon in the path of this big meteor.
Taking one for the team.
Take one for the team. Literally and figuratively taking one for the team.
Okay.
This meteor hits the moon, blows up into a bunch of pieces, doesn't stop the meteor, but kind of breaks it up into enough pieces. Unfortunately kills the goddess in this situation.
Okay, yeah.
Then one of their other gods, god of magic, said these meteors were still the weird thing is about it, they still have the magic of the Agolthu.
Oh, because it's like a magic. Oh, right,
it's a magic meteor.
Right, it's a magical meteor, not just a mundane, not your everyday mundane
meteor. So this god used his power to kind of negate the magic. So then, instead of having a big magic meteor that's going to blow up the earth, you had a non-magic swarm of meteoroids going to hit the earth.
And there's no way anything bad happened, right?
Yeah.
Nothing bad happened.
So what happened is these meteoroids still hit the continent that these humans were part of and just obliterated it.
Oh.
Wiped off the face of the map.
Oh.
Yeah. So ushered in what they call the Age of Darkness.
Okay.
But because of the gods' help, it didn't fully destroy Golarion. People on Golarion still survived.
Okay, so I was led to believe in the Michael Bay documentary that when you destroy the asteroid, the day is saved and no one really gets hurt.
Yeah, Golarion goes with the scientific part of it, as unless you obliterate the asteroid, you just have a lot of tiny asteroids.
So this world is more scientifically accurate than a Michael Bay film.
Yes, I think that's fair.
Okay,
that's
I'm
fair.
on board.
In a world of magic and gods, and it's probably more accurate than a Michael Bay film.
Okay, I'm on board so far. So it's dark now. The meteors have rained forth, and it's bad. Instead
of focusing on what happens after that, we're going to talk about it at some point.
Okay.
But we're going to focus on actually one of the meteors.
Okay.
The heart of the meteor landed in the middle of the world.
Okay.
In the ocean, landed, and then laid dormant for roughly 5,000 years. So, for reference, Earthfall happened from present-day Golarion 10,000 years ago. And for about 5,000 years, people tried to rebuild. Obviously, trying to recover from a disaster of world-ending is going to take a long time.
Takes a couple years.
So we're going to skip past the Age of Destiny.
Okay.
And actually, we're going to hit the Age of Enthronement. One of the ancestors of this, the too big for their britches,
like nation, or
nation,
city-state nation.
Yeah.
They're like an empire.
Yeah, they were an empire.
Okay.
So one of the descendants of this name.
Okay.
Aridin. He is a very powerful mage.
Okay.
And he gets called to the Inner Sea. Basically, the center of Golarion, near the equator, maybe a little bit above the equator.
Okay.
Probably. So he gets called, to the Inner Sea.
Like a siren song.
Kind of
almost like magically attracted?
Yeah, just kind of attracted in some form. And when he does, an earth mass erupts from the sea.
Oh.
And so it basically turns from water to an island topped with this heart of the meteor that's been laying dormant.
Okay. Like almost like a little mini volcano.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Aridin uses, like I said, he's a very powerful mage. So he uses his magic to keep it from being misused ever again. Obviously, he knows the story of his people. He knows what happened and how this is actually part of the meteor that was called down because of their keeper.
So he sees it like a weapon almost?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So he says, you know what? Going to use my magic. It's never going to be misused.
Okay.
And basically founds a city called Absalom on this island. Mm-hmm. And because he used his magic to protect this, gods, which exist in plenty in this world, and we'll talk about that, they saw his great deeds and kind of raised him to godhood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So then he becomes a god and calls this meteor, which we now know as the Starstone.
See, this is a term I know.
Yeah.
Yes. Starstone, I know.
Starstone.
Yes.
So this becomes a thing where anytime in the future now, there is a thing called the test of the Starstone, where if you touch the Starstone, it still has a ton of magic and it gives you a test.
Yes.
And if you can pass this test, you become a god.
Yes. This is where now my knowledge loops in. Like even the current campaign, we had a discussion at the table just 2 weeks ago of what if the players decides to try to take a test of the Starstones. Okay. Yeah.
So
I'm on board now.
Yeah. So no one knows what this test is. Paizo, the owner of Pathfinder, they haven't written the story of the Starstone. They're keeping it very hush-hush.
They should never write that story.
Yes. Long story short, Absalom grows. Aridin's, basically the god of the humans, kind of the hero. So let's skip forward a little bit. This is this point where he raises the Starstone.
Yep.
That is the first year of the dating system Absalom Reckoning. So, we have BC, AD.
Yes.
They have AR, Absalom Reckoning.
There's Absalom Reckoning is the AR, and then the dates after Absalom Reckoning are like your sequential.
Yeah. So when he raised the Starstone is AR1.
Okay.
So fast forward, we have clerics of Aridin, we have all that stuff. Mm-hmm. In the time between Aridin raising the Starstone and present day, several other mortals have become gods using the test of the Starstone.
So that thing that he said that he would never let anyone use it again?
He would never ever lose it for a weapon, but if you pass the test.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of like pulling the sword from the stone.
Yeah,
if you're deemed worthy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, several people have been deemed worthy.
Okay.
In this case. So fast forward about 4,500 years. There is a time in the Starfall Doctrine, which is kind of this time of prophecy, right? It's this kind of document of prophecy. Here's all the things.
Oh, no.
Aridin is going to come back and lead the human civilization in a millennium of peace and justice and all this stuff.
Oh, no.
Prophesied in the age or in the Starfall Doctrine.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So we hit 4606. We're still about 200 years prior to present day.
Okay.
So 200 years ago. The time comes, the day, as prophesied, that's supposed to bring in the Age of Glory. Instead of Aridin coming back, all of the clerics of Aridin who have magical powers and connection lose their connection to Aridin.
Of course.
Just all their magic.
Everything falls apart.
Everything falls apart.
Yeah.
He doesn't come back. The world is in chaos because up until now, the prophecies, this is what we're doing.
Right, of course. Yeah. I mean, we would never write a prophecy.
That's not going to come true. Of course. At this point, if you lose your connection to your god, the main thing you can presume is Aridin is dead.
Great. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
And so instead of going into the Age of Glory, we are now in the current age of Lost Omens.
Yes, which is the name of all the books.
Name of all the books in Lost Omens. Yes. Like I said, he was supposed to come back, didn't come back. Prophecy's kind of out the window of, well, that didn't work.
Do they know why Aridin was killed? Or why he died or anything?
No. So that is if there is one mystery of Golarion, that is probably the most important mystery to the world. It's how and why did Aridin die?
I mean, I think the Age of Serpents is a pretty interesting mystery too.
Look, okay, so second to Age of Serpents. let's go back to Age of Serpents.
So big mystery though. No one knows why or how.
No one knows.
Okay.
And that's a mystery that they are keeping close to the chest.
Okay.
Which is pretty cool.
Okay.
There was a deity called Iomade that kind of inherited his mantle, a lot of his followers.
Yes.
She is one of the ones who took the test of the Starstone.
Yes.
Became godhood. We'll talk about her in her mortal form in a later episode.
Yeah.
But so a lot of his followers kind of went with her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is kind of where we're at now.
Okay.
Yeah. Stepping away from the story a little bit and kind of go to the mechanics. Paizo currently has 2nd edition Pathfinder, which is set in kind of our own time right now that's happening. This came out in I think 2018. And the date that they are in Absalom Reckoning is 4718. So it's 2023 now. It's currently 4723 in Absalom Reckoning.
Yeah.
And this is kind of the 2nd edition of Pathfinder there.
Yeah.
So there's some history before, and then present day is in 2nd edition.
Okay, yes. But everything for the patent, I just looked up 2007. So pretty much everything they've written is the last 200 years is the bulk of history of Pathfinder, of Golarion, really.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we talked about a little bit about the ages. We talked about the board of the charcuterie board.
The board of the charcuterie board. Good.
So let's kind of touch on the different areas.
The food groups.
Okay. Trying to think, if you have this metaphor, what are the kind of things that are more garnish rather than the kind of meat of the charcuterie
maybe
board?
your spice kind of sprigs.
Yeah,
and
sure. Maybe some dips that are there. You get a little bit of dip in it.
Yeah.
So there are about 7 continents on Golarion. You have Arcadia, which is, on the map of Golarion, way to the west.
Okay.
You have Tian Sha, way to the east.
Yes.
You have the Crown of the World, way to the north.
Okay.
Then you have Casmaroon, east, but not quite as east as Tian Sha.
Okay.
We're not going to talk too much about those 4. Tian Sha probably has the
second most stuff kind of
stuff written about it. There's a fantastic adventure path written based in Tian Sha right now, but most of the focus of Golarion's world and lore and world building is in the inner sea region. So we talked about the star Absalom kind of in the center of the world. And it's kind of the city in the center of the world. Okay. And so that's the inner sea region. On the north of that, you have Avestan. On the south of that, you have Garund.
Avestan and Garund.
And
it's kind of almost like a Mediterranean, real world Mediterranean kind of sea proxy.
Yeah, if you think of Absalom kind of in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea. Yeah, Avestan's north of the sea, and then it kind of goes out to the ocean. Yeah. From there.
Okay. Yeah, I got a rough mental picture of where northern landmass, southern landmass surrounding the inner sea, the Mediterranean Sea equivalent. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So what we're gonna do now, like I said, there is a lot happening in the inner sea region.
Yes.
Just a ton. And you know that there's so many things we talk about. It's dense.
Very dense.
And we will dig deeper into different areas as we go and kind of talk about all the cool different things you can do. But for today, I'm going to take you from north to south. And I'm just going to hit a couple of nice little samplers.
Okay. So now we're getting into our individual types of meats and cheeses.
Individual types of meats and cheeses.
Okay.
So, I have a question for you.
Shoot.
How would you like to become a king of your own territory in one easy step?
One easy step? Yeah, let's go.
All you have to do is win in death combat.
No.
1v1 with a dragon.
Is it a baby dragon?
Oh, no. It's a big old dragon.
I don't have very good sword skills in real life.
Okay, well, let's see if this is a good vacation spot for you. So we are going to start our journey in the land of the Lenorm Kings.
Sure.
So the Lenorm Kings are kind of not tundra. It's kind of a winter forever. It's on the north.
Northern-ish. Okay.
Yeah, it's north of Avestan.
Canada, kind of?
Kind of Canada.
Okay.
Maybe Greenland.
Greenland? Yeah. Okay.
It's close to the crown of the world, but not quite.
Sure.
So this is a country that is not ruled by a singular government. How this country works is it's kind of settlements and cities built around kind of forces of personality.
Okay.
The first Lenorm king was, I'm going to butcher this name, in northwestern Avestan was Sabjorn Armfang.
That's an awesome name.
That is an awesome name. They're very Viking names.
Yeah.
Sabjorn Armfang was a guy who killed a dragon, and these dragons in this area are called Lenorms.
Okay.
So you know your like red dragons, your gold dragons, or whatever. Lenorms are far more ancient than dragons.
Okay.
They are more kind of serpent-like.
They're not like your big giant winged dragons.
They're not your big winged dragons.
Okay.
They can fly, but they don't have wings.
Okay.
They're like magic.
Magical flight.
Yeah, magical flight. So they're called Lenorms.
Okay.
So the land of the Lenorm kings are because these kings go kill a Lenorm, use that fame to say, I am now king, and anybody after me who wants to rule in this territory now has to kill their own Lenorm.
I mean, as far as government succession plans, there are probably worse options.
I mean, you have a powerful person who can fight a dragon as your leader.
Yeah, anyone who can kill a dragon is at least worthy of respect, I suppose.
Yeah. And so it actually kind of worked out because in this...
Oh, did it?
In this area, you have a lot of nomadic tribes, and they're moving, and it's dangerous and kind of whatever. So the fact that you have a king kills Lenorm, and a little bit about Lenorm, how they work. Basically, you have a Lenorm drop an egg in the middle of nowhere, a female Lenorm, a male Lenorm, and then that female just pieces. Male Lenorm comes in, fertilizes the egg, also pieces. This Lenorm hatches and is like, this is my territory now.
Ah, okay.
So basically, you have these just territories of dragons.
Sure.
And so when the kings come in, they kill the Lenorm, they kind of get rid of the apex predator in the area.
And then they're the apex predator.
And they're the apex predator.
Okay, yeah.
And so then people kind of flock and then, build a city around them. So we don't need to get into too much detail. So again, I want this to be a teaser. I want people to leave this podcast and hopefully not be like, what the hell are they talking about?
Yeah, okay.
Instead to be like, ooh, I want to learn more about that.
I mean, I'm in for the fun of dragon killing, but I don't think I am destined to rule the area.
Okay. Well, if you ever do, there are 3 more regions that have not been claimed by a single Lenorm king. There are 4 current Lenorm kings, one of which actually didn't kill her Lenorm. She just subdued it, and it is now basically her pet.
That seems not fair.
Yeah. I mean, she's got great defenses.
I mean, yeah, but that kind of, well, okay.
Yeah,
I guess we can go into more detail later, but that...
It's a technicality.
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
that seems...
It's fine. Okay. So, this sounds like maybe, pretty cool line of succession compared to, birthrights and whatnot. If you have to go kill a Lenorm, you can't just be like, my dad also killed a Lenorm, I'm gonna be the new king. You have to actually go kill your own.
Yeah, it at least seems like a very clear set of rules for succession.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, maybe this isn't exactly the, vacation for Ryan, but a cool place.
Sure.
So let's zoom out. So we're still in Avestan. We're going to go several countries southeast. So I have to ask another question.
Okay.
What are your thoughts about pitchforks?
There is not a pitchfork emporium near our house. However, I would support the construction of one.
Okay. What do you think about torches?
Also, I think similarly, I'm game for a good torch now and again.
Okay. So if you could call yourself a go with the flow type of guy or against the current type of guy, what would you be?
I'm definitely more of a go with the flow kind of guy.
Okay, so then you might fit in pretty well with the roving mobs in Galt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So let's dive into a country. You can call it a nation. It's kind of barely a nation. Think of it as a nation that is in perpetual revolution.
Do they have a flag?
Oh, probably. I don't know.
That's all you really need, right? Plant the flag and...
Yeah. Imagine the French Revolution if it is now a form of government.
That seems less sustainable than the Lenorm Kings.
Yes, very much so. Over the last 50 years, so Galt used to be a province of another country, which we'll talk about, Taldor.
Yes.
And then once a different country, Cheliax, broke away from Taldor, they took Galt with it and said, I am going to annex Galt.
Yep.
And at first, it was fine. Things are fine. Whatever. Galt is full of free thinkers and poets and artists.
Of course.
Great
the Romantics.
Yeah. Then Cheliax, which we'll get into more, but is basically a fascist dictatorship.
Spoilers for Cheliax.
Not a great country. Gets ruled by somehow the worse than you can imagine of fascist evil dictatorship people.
Oh, I'm so excited to do Cheliax.
I'm ready. So they start really oppressing Galt. And then Galt's like, no, this sucks.
Yeah.
We're going to start...
And no one can blame them, knowing what we know about Cheliax.
Yeah, and of course, as a poet, he's going to write a scathing poem about Cheliax.
Dear Mr. Cheliax.
I do not appreciate you. Yes. So that artistic representation turned into violent representation. And they started a rebellion, which, good for them. Unfortunately, that rebellion never stopped. So 50 years ago from present day...
50 years?
50 years ago, the initial revolution happened.
No.
After that, there have been over a dozen governments that get brought up, hang out for less than a decade, and then get brutally murdered by the next group of people.
This doesn't sound very sustainable.
So there are two constants.
Okay.
You have...
Is it pitchforks and torches?
I mean, kind of. You have roving mobs.
Okay.
There is a lot of most leaders in Galt try to focus on getting mobs away from them.
Yeah, that's
and then pointing their ire elsewhere.
Also a very reasonable.
It usually doesn't work for too long.
Okay.
But the two constants of Galt are the Great Gardeners and the Final Blades. So during the initial revolution, they said, like the French, they're like, we need a public way to execute people. So they built...
It's about sending a message, Tyler.
They built these guillotines called the Final Blades. We all know guillotines. Cut your head off. It's not great.
Cool.
These are guillotines, but extra. They not only cut your head off, they steal your soul.
Oh my gosh.
And they store your soul in the blade.
What could go wrong?
Which, in Earth, doesn't really matter because, whatever. But in Golarion, where resurrection magic and, a lot of this stuff, your soul does stuff.
That's a very good point, yes.
So the Final Blade is like...
It's like a screw you in the current life and the next life.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that's really bad. That's really bad.
Yeah, it's not great. So the Grey Gardeners are the executioners and the owners, maintainers of the Final Blade. They are the arm of the mob. The mob's like, we don't like these people, go kill them. And the Grey Gardeners are like, okay. And they're also pretty... not good. They're not the good guys.
They probably have reliable work, at least.
Yeah, they got reliable work. And the reason they have stayed around is because they are also all anonymous. They all wear masks. No one knows who a Grey Gardener is.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, so they've their powers through anonymity. Several councils, they call them the Revolutionary Council, is the form of government in Galt.
Of course they do.
Yeah, so several councils have tried to force the Grey Gardeners to unmask, but the Grey Gardeners, knowing history, are like, well, this Revolutionary Council is not going to last more than 10 years, so we'll just wait them out.
Well, yeah, why would you give up all of your leverage? That'd be a terrible idea.
It's worked very well for the Grey Gardeners so far, but yeah, again, we don't want to go too much into detail. You have a roving band of mobs. They also don't take kindly to outsiders at all.
I feel like this would be bad for me.
Okay, so maybe that's not you. So let's instead go back to the map. So we've talked about Avestan a little bit.
Yep, in the north.
Let's go down to Garund.
Okay, so now we're south. We're like North Africa, kind of.
Kind of, yeah,
sort
yeah.
Of,
so you have some like Egyptian kind of style influences. Then you have kind of like an African jungle.
Yeah, it's not one to one.
Not one to one, but it has some similarities.
Yes.
What do you think? Are you a camper?
I mean, of all the three so far,
that's fair.
This is probably the closest we've been already.
What do you think about just living in the jungle?
Not so much living in the jungle. Can I live out of the back of my Toyota Camry?
I don't think. I would say. I mean, Camry has not been built in this, but
okay,
so probably not. You'd probably be more of a treehouse.
Okay, treehouse. Still, I'm not opposed so far.
Okay. So how do you feel about being one of the last lines of defense against a great evil that can destroy the world?
My confidence is dropping.
Perfect.
Not feeling great.
So let's dive in deep into the Mwangi Expanse, which we're going to have a whole episode on that.
Sure.
And there's
it's a very
so many sections.
Detailed place, yes.
We're going to go to a specific tribe of elves called the Akuje elves.
The Akuje.
Yes.
Okay.
Remember earlier I talked about Earthfall?
Yes.
One of the notable situations that happen in Earthfall is all the elves on Golarion, for the most part, just teleported out. They just went to a different plane of existence. And
Peace.
They said, peace out. We don't want to deal with these meteors.
That's a very reasonable reaction to an impending
That is.
Intergalactic catastrophe.
The Akuje in the Mwangi decided, we are going to stay. and fight whatever comes out of this.
It's very bold of them.
It is very bold of them. But the cool thing about this, and so the reasons why they stayed versus leaving are lost to history. This is,
like many things.
Yes. 10,000 years ago, not sure. But not only they survived the destruction of Earthfall, they were able to defeat the quote-unquote Great Darkness that arose from the ashes of Earthfall.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they were successful.
Yeah. This tribe of elves fought, and I'm not going to go into too much spoilers because there is a adventure path that delves deep into what this Great Darkness is.
Okay.
So I'm not going to spoil this.
Yeah.
But these elves fought back. And the really cool thing, I love reading about these guys. They realized their weapons were not strong enough to fight this darkness and pierce its armor.
Uh-huh.
So what they did is their strongest and most righteous heroes in their tribes sacrificed themselves to bolster the remaining elves and weapons to pierce the armor of the Great Darkness. Oh,
that's so cool.
Yeah. Like the way they kind of, we talked about souls in the Final Blades.
Yes.
These souls came and were actually helping save the
willingly
world.
In the Blades.
Yeah. And so it's could be argued that if the Akuje had left with the rest of the elves, Earthfall would have happened, and then the Great Darkness would have arose and destroyed the Earth.
Okay. Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, this definitely sounds like the most short-term appealing one.
So the Akuje, in the meantime, they have their tribes. They are very protective of the jungle. You have a lot of people from Avestan, you have Cheliax, you have, people who come, and the area that they live are very rich in resources.
Yes.
So people are like, we're going to go take this gold. And the Akuje are like, no, you're not. We're going to run you out.
Right.
So they're pretty protective of the forest, but they're also very protective of people who are there for good reasons.
Okay, so they're very virtuous.
Yeah. And the really cool thing, and something that, in Golarion and most kind of fantasy worlds, is that half-elves, elves of a parent, or with a parent of a human and an elf,
yes,
are usually kind of looked down upon.
Yes.
Right? So the Akuje are very welcoming to half-elves. Because they know that in, the rest of the world, half-elves kind of are looked down upon. They're like, no, you're one of us.
That's like a little sanctuary.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm more warm on this one.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't think I would last very long, but
that's fair. It's cool. It's cool.
So far, I'm most on board for this one.
Okay. So let's zoom out one more time.
Okay.
We're going to go basically about west from where we currently are.
Okay, straight west.
Straight west.
Yep.
So kind of on the edge of Garund, near the ocean.
Yes.
You said earlier, obviously, that fighting a dragon one-on-one might not be the best for our health.
That's probably not where my strengths lie, no.
No. Instead, how would you like to own your own island?
I mean, that'd be sick.
Okay, all you have to do is win a boat race.
I actually may be able to do that.
Okay, so the only catch...
There's always a catch.
Boat race is in and around a hurricane that has been raging for decades. What do you think?
I mean, as far as things that I could probably accomplish with my current skill set, this still might be the most possible one.
That's fair.
I can't sacrifice my soul to go into a sword. I don't think I can do that.
Not with that attitude.
Well, yeah, that's fair.
Okay, we are going to go now, travel to a place called the Shackles.
Mm-hmm.
The Shackles are basically an archipelago on the outskirts of Garund. So on the ocean.
Yeah, a bunch of scattered little islands.
Islands.
Yeah.
Way back, back before Earthfall, or around there. It was originally a Cyclops kingdom, an empire.
Oh.
Yeah, like you do.
Was it? Okay, sure.
Yeah. Since then, obviously, it's fallen into ruin. Like most kingdoms.
Cyclopses don't have good fiscal policy.
They really don't. They don't. They fell into ruin. And at one point, so it's been, they had the ruins there. At one point, Chelaxians, which, we talked about, the fascist dictatorship, came down, found this area, and said, let's colonize it. But the ruins of the Cyclopses were so horrific with the pictures and iconography, the stuff of horrid depictions of brutality and cannibalism and other stuff, that even the fascist empire was like, no, this is cursed.
Okay.
Let's get out.
Okay. So probably not the most family friendly location to take our adventure.
But instead, pirates were like, oh, this is perfect.
I'm back in it.
They're back in it.
I'm back in it.
So pirates decided to start taking control of these islands. And they said, oh, they can use the kind of, they're on the coast. They just start raiding and pirating all around.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is great. They all had their different, they all had the free, they were called the free captains.
Okay.
So you had each kind of own different islands and have their own fleets and do all that stuff.
Yeah.
So all that changed when the Eye of Abendigo, which is a hurricane that showed up soon after Aerodin died. Remember, Aerodin died?
Yep.
It showed up and has been in the same spot slightly north of the Shackles for several hundred years.
A perpetual hurricane.
Okay. Yeah. So,
and we have not confirmed that the hurricane killed Aerodin?
We have not confirmed.
Okay.
Not confirmed or deny that the hurricane has done anything about Aerodin. But the trade routes obviously are kind of all messed up.
A hurricane will do that, yeah.
And the land masses around the hurricane are just getting flooded and swamped and just kind of ruined, right?
Right.
So all of the free captains had to band together and become kind of one coalition pirate council under the Hurricane King.
Okay.
Yeah. That's leader of the pirate council, right? And we have president. We don't have a Hurricane Queen.
Oh, Hurricane King or Queen is a good name.
Yes. They banded under the Hurricane King and then started going back out, preying on shipping routes and do all that, using the hurricane as cover. Basically, people would be going around, trade ships around. The pirates would be waiting in the hurricane, come out, steal, pillage, and then go back into the hurricane.
Hurricane ambush tactics.
Tactics. We can talk more about the Shackles because I love it and it's pirates and all that stuff. The current Hurricane Queen is Tessa Fairwind.
Oh, that's so cool.
Right?
Oh, it's even Fairwind!
Fairwind.
Oh, let's go.
Tessa Fairwind.
Oh, so good.
But
destined for greatness.
The thing I told you about earlier, the race, is called the Free Captains Regatta. So once a year, they have a race in and around the hurricane that goes through reefs, goes through sandbars, along the edge of the hurricane, in and out.
Okay.
And the winner gets a small island and a seat on the Pirate Council.
I mean, I feel like we've come kind of full circle of, we went from there can only be one to like awful perpetual revolution to like moderate order again. And then we're right back around to, well, if you're the best, you get to be a ruler again.
You get to be a ruler. You're back out.
You're back in it now.
Yeah. So what do you think? Do you think that's a good vacation spot?
I feel like I'd like to go watch the Free Captains Regatta. I feel like that'd be a really cool spectator sport.
Would be a cool spectator.
Probably dangerous still, but
yeah.
I don't know that I have like the ship rigging to like move sails and stuff.
Yeah, that's fair. Usually about 30% of ships are just lost in the race.
Again, I think I'd be a spectator.
Yeah, that's fair.
Spectator seems a little safer for me.
Okay. So that is kind of the end of our charcuterie board of Inner Sea region.
I love it.
I hope that anybody listening thinks, man, I want to dig deeper. Because you know what? So do we.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
So that's all we have from a lore perspective today. We want to continue on with the teasers. So after a quick break, we're going to talk about different campaigns you could possibly run in this kitchen sink of a world.
Yes. Now we get to pontificate a little further.
I love it. Okay, we'll be right back. Hey, welcome back to the Tabletop Travel Guide.
We are back.
And we are now going to talk about some different campaigns that can happen. I have given Ryan a couple of prompts. I'm going to ask him what type of campaigns he would run in certain situations, and then he's going to tell me where it'd be and why.
Yes, and these were kind of my gut check choices. This was me like driving home from work thinking, okay, Tyler gave me 4 different prompts. What are like my gut check, my first choices of just... let's just try it. Let's just go from there.
So the first one, very classic Pathfinder campaign, Adventuring Chosen Ones.
Sure. So Adventuring Chosen Ones. I would normally be tempted to do like an Arthurian tale of like, good Sir Knight grabs the sword from the stone and is a glorious, glorious victor or whatever. But I'm going to go because I had my nostalgia dip. Okay. And I was replaying the old theme for One Piece on my way home the one day.
Okay.
And so I'm going to go with Over in the Shackles.
Okay.
King of the Pirates.
Chosen
King of the Pirates.
Okay.
We're going to go be a free captain, and we're going to go build a crew to accomplish some kind of chosen one task.
Well, I'm excited.
Yes.
I love pirates.
So I don't know what the task necessarily is, right? We're trying to keep it pretty broad, but maybe we're here to formally slay a great beast of the hurricane. And yeah, we're gonna get a ship. We're gonna build our crew of quirky, weird NPC characters and party members and all kinds of stuff. And we're just gonna go for it. We are the chosen one.
Yes, I love it.
And I mean, what could go wrong, right? It's like the pirates area.
Yeah.
So you can literally throw guns. You can throw like your knights and your swords in there. There's weird technology stuff. Like pirates have access to everything.
So would these pirates end up like taking over the world? Would they just become a big, huge, rich what?
No, I mean, I think everything, at least in my mind, like you wouldn't have a world-spanning chosen one from this scenario. Maybe they're defeating a great evil. Maybe like the Eye of the Hurricane spawns a great beast every 100 years or something.
That'd be cool. Okay.
And like there's a fabled captain who steps up every 100 years to take command and stop this great evil. So yeah, I don't think it's world-spanning necessarily, but also you will have a boat.
That's true.
So wherever you want to sail your boat, it is the inner sea region. So you could leave the shackles if you truly decided to.
Ooh, okay, I like it. So that's classic adventuring chosen.
Classic chosen ones.
So tell me what you would choose for a mystery and intrigue type campaign.
Yes, so a little bit of cloak and dagger.
Yes.
A little bit of sneak.
I love it.
I think I'm going to pick, really, it's a bit of a cop-out, but any of the major urban centers all throughout the inner sea region.
Fair.
So there's Opera in Taldor. There's Absalom, which we talked about before, the island that rises up in the middle of the inner sea. There's Kalafas and Ustalav, Sothis and Osiren. You can kind of span the gambit, right? So you can have more like Game of Thrones political intrigue in Taldor, where there's lots of lords and ladies maneuvering for political hierarchy and standing.
Yeah.
Your Absalom is like the center of the world. So literally any bit of mystery, a random wanderer comes off a boat and all the mysteries that come with that boat from far away. And even like your Kalafas, your, what's it called? Your horror, your...
kind of dark shadows.
Yeah,
type,
dark, shadowy vampires and zombies and all the things that go bump in the night and scare people because they live in, that's the monster in the closet kind of stuff.
I like it.
And you can really mystery and intrigue your way into any corner in any of the urban centers. There's just so much to do in all those big, giant settlements.
I like that. Man, I love all those types of different campaigns. Okay, we've done classic adventuring, chosen ones.
Sure.
We've done mystery and intrigue.
Yep.
What if I just wanted to be an adventuring party that just like went around an adventure? Mercenaries for hire, sandbox style. And when we talk about sandbox, and think of like from a video game where there's not really a plot, an overarching plot. You're just kind of playing around.
Right. Yeah. A little bit of, I might date myself here, a little bit of Westmarch's influence kind of a thing. Tyler's looking at me.
I have no idea what you're
He has no idea what I'm talking about. Westmarch's was like a system of hex crawling back in the day. Okay. Yeah. So my go-to would be...
It's funny, you're younger than me, and you're like, I'm dating myself.
Sometimes you go really deep on like GM theory, and it just... You end up sounding way older.
That's fair. Okay. So, sandbox.
Yeah, so sandbox. I'm thinking the River Kingdoms.
Okay.
It's kind of a...
Wait, where are the River Kingdoms?
They are the northeast part of Avestan.
Okay.
It's kind of like smaller city-states. There's not a super strong collective government influence. Everyone's very like, you plant your flag and freedom is important, and... However you kind of figure out what's important for your freedom-loving area of this area, we all kind of agree it's okay. Mm-hmm. So there's not a ton of control. There's also Kingmaker. Yeah. Kingmaker takes place here, where you build a settlement. I don't want to spoil Kingmaker.
I don't know, kind of the ultimate sandbox campaign that was written in Pathfinder First Edition.
And it now, so they wrote it for first edition, but I believe that they've converted it to 2e. Yep. And then I think it also even exists as a 5e supplement now.
Yeah.
At least
Dungeons and Dragons 5, yeah.
Yes.
Completely different system.
Yes, at least the bestiary does. I don't know if they got all the narrative stuff converted over to 5e yet.
Not sure. I think they did. It was that whole Kickstarter campaign.
It could have been. Anyway. I don't follow 5e a ton anymore, but yeah, I think it's the classic area. Drop the players in. They're all level 2 or 3 or whatever, and then point them in a direction and go, adventure is north. We'll figure it out as we go.
I like it. Okay. Dealer's choice. Give me a random off-the-wall campaign somewhere.
Off the wall. I'm going to go with my boys Nex and Geb in the south.
Yes.
Tyler's laughing at me. I can't, but we don't want to go too deep into Nex and Geb. But the super high level is 2 countries, specifically 2 wizards, got real pissed at each other. And they decided that they were so pissed they were going to fight a war. And this magical war happened for 1,500 years, 1,500 years.
Holy crap.
And this is just the setup for the Off the Wall campaign.
Okay.
So war is taking place for 1,500 years. And the area is so magically polluted with just all kinds of weird, wonky, off-the-wall stuff occurring because of 1,500 years of pollution that it then takes 4,000 years for the area to develop back into a habitable location. So my choice for an off-the-wall campaign is you drop people into the magical wasteland. And that is literally GM fiat to go, hey, I know we fought demons yesterday, but now we're going to fight magical slug monsters because...
And does your magic work?
Yeah. Roll a d20. Your magic might not work today. Maybe you can make it to Alkenstar, where they make guns in Pathfinder and Golarion. Maybe you can't, and it's just your potpourri, absolute crazy area.
So this would be if the River Kingdoms is where the players kind of choose their destiny.
Yeah.
The Wastelands are where the DM chooses the player's destiny.
100%. This is where you're hey, today we're going to fight a sentient rock slide. Have fun, everybody. Hope you have blunt weapons.
Hopefully you can handle this.
Yeah, so maybe a little more off the wall than you were expecting, but...
Okay, no, that was good. I love off the wall. That would even be a good, one shot. Today we're doing something different.
Yeah. Even I like the idea. I always mix in my campaigns the astral plane shenanigans.
Yeah,
whenever players do things that throw them into the astral plane, that could be a good spot for them to pop back out and do a 1 or 2 session stint there.
Yeah, that's fair.
They're called the mana wastes.
Okay. So I hope that this has been a good kind of teaser of what we're going to be getting into for all of our future episodes. I'm sure there were certain things that you heard and you're like, I don't know what that is. I don't know where that is. And that's okay. This isn't, this wasn't meant to be a full course on Golarion in 1 episode.
Oh yeah, not even close.
In the future, we hope that we're able to dive deeper into each area and talk about the story and talk about the lore and really just kind of enjoy exploring the world.
Yes. And even, I don't know if we mentioned it in the beginning, part of the reason we wanted to start this podcast a little bit is Tyler and I don't know everything about Golarion. And we both have our areas we've run campaigns in, but we're very willing to learn and want to learn more about all the other areas of Golarion.
Yeah. So we are excited to take this adventure, and we hope you are excited to take this adventure with us.
Come along for the crazy boat ride around the shackles.
Yes. With that, until next time, happy traveling.
Good luck, guys.